At the end of the day, we know what yacht sellers want: sell their boat quickly and maximize their bottom line. We'll show you how selling a vessel privately through a niche website like Catamaran site compares to selling with Current Yachts. When listing on a niche site like Catamaran site, you should expect a lesser reach than the traditional marketplaces such as Yacht World that Current Yachts can tap into. Catamaran site today boasts under 300 boat listings, and Yacht World has over 2,000 listings for sailing catamarans alone. In terms of their reach, Catamaran site has about 50,000 unique visitors every month versus Current Yachts together with Yacht World can give you access to 4 to 5 million visitors. Let's take an example. You may be considering selling your catamaran for $530,000 and you list it on Catamaran site, but the boat doesn't sell right away. And since you didn't get many inquiries, you end up lowering the price. You find a buyer who agrees to buy your catamaran for $515,000. Keep in mind, because you are tapping into a niche site, it is quite likely that the time to sell on your own versus using a yacht broker will be longer. Let's just use the figure of 8 months for now. You may not know how to price your boat at first and want to test the market. Of course, Catamaran site is a very small share of the buyer's market, as we already discussed earlier. During those 8 months, you incur holding costs, so we should factor that in to figure out the net to seller. Assuming it's a 45-foot catamaran, with maintenance, berth, and insurance, that number could easily add up to $4,000 a month. Now, listing on Catamaran site means that your listing cost is near zero. But it's possible that to find that buyer, you're going to have to pay a finder's fee to a third party. It's actually quite common. A broker might be looking for a vessel for a buyer, and they will contact the private seller so a deal can be made. In this case, that buyer-side broker will expect 5%. So as you can see, the net to seller is now adjusted to reflect the total selling cost, which is 5% of this selling price plus holding costs. This yields a net to seller of about $457,000. With Current Yachts, instead of a reduced exposure and having to pay a finder's fee, we're proposing you invest in listing the boat to reach the right audience. It only costs about $1,500 to list, and your selling expense due at closing is much more reasonable than the traditional yacht brokerage commission. Before we look at these numbers, you should know that boats listed with brokers usually fetch a higher sell price. That's because you have access to a larger population of qualified buyers, and the expertise of your professional yacht broker will ensure the boat is priced appropriately. Nobody wants to leave money on the table. Let's take this same catamaran and expect it will sell for about 4% more. That's because Current Yachts is going to put forth a very professional listing and reach that large audience that you're currently missing out on with Catamaran site. Another key consideration is the time to sell. It's going to be much shorter, probably half. And therefore your holding costs, assuming the same monthly cost, will be half, and the net to seller will be much greater. You can see the selling expense with Current Yachts is around $21,000. Next, you'll consider whether or not you will open the boat to co-brokerage. It is likely you will not owe any buyer-side commission even if you open the listing to co-brokerage. That's because buyers come unrepresented in half of all transactions open to co-brokerage. You should know that the most likely scenario is going to be the one without co-brokerage, which means a buyer will come unrepresented and you will net more money. But even in the instance where you'd have to pay 5% co-brokerage, you would come out on top by about $15,000, and because you will sell faster, you will have peace of mind sooner. This is why selling on your own rarely saves sellers money, especially now that Current Yachts is flipping the script on yacht brokerage commissions. We hope this is helpful. Feel free to connect with us if you'd like a copy of this calculator. We'll be happy to share it with you.